All right, player one, listen up. Welcome to the unofficial strategy guide for, well, the game of life.
So let's just get right into it. Have you ever felt like your life is just bugged? You know, like you're stuck on some impossible level, there's no walkthrough and you're just grinding away? Yeah, we've all been there. But what if I told you it's not a bug at all?
The thing is, the problem isn't a glitch in the game. It's that you've been playing this whole time without ever reading the manual. Think of what we're about to go through as leaked developer notes. Turns out there's a hidden rulebook, a set of core mechanics that runs everything. And trust me, once you understand how the game is actually coded, everything changes.
Okay, first up, the emotional physics engine. We're going to pop the hood and look at the core mechanics. Basically, the hidden code that's dictating your character's every single reaction.
So the first big mechanic is essentially Newton's first law of emotion. And it's pretty simple. For every action, there's an equal and opposite emotional reaction. You know, something bad happens. Someone cuts you off in traffic, your boss gives you a bad review. The game registers that as a moral gap. It's this feeling of injustice, right? And your emotions, they're just the game's alert system, kind of screaming at you to go balance the scales.
And you know, this works for good stuff too. It's not just about pain. If a friend does something incredible for you, like a totally unexpected, amazing gift, that also creates a gap, a positive one. And you feel this deep, driving need to repay them, to even things out. So whether you're seeking revenge or showing gratitude, it's all the same thing. It's an XP grind to get the score back to 0.
Okay, so how does your character actually process all this stuff in the game world? Well, you're basically running on 2 CPUs. You've got your thinking brain, which processes things horizontally. It's all about logic, cause and effect, how things are. But then there's your feeling brain. It thinks vertically. It's constantly ranking everything. This is better, that is worse. It's building this massive hierarchy of how it thinks things ought to be.
And that vertical ranking system, that's your personal skill tree. The game calls it your value hierarchy. Think of it like a subconscious bookshelf where you rank everything you care about. Top shelf, family, friends, really good burrito. Bottom shelf, I don't know, taxes, indigestion. The key is your feeling brain is programmed to always go for what's on the highest shelf. So if you want to level up, if you want real growth, it's not about grinding for new skills. It's about completely reorganizing that bookshelf. It's about respecking your entire character.
Okay, so now that we know the basic mechanics, who's the final boss? What's the big bad you're up against in this whole game? Well, let me tell you, it's probably not what you're thinking. This is a really fascinating and frankly kind of frustrating game mechanic called the blue dot effect. Your brain is literally programmed to find a certain quota of threats. In one study, they showed people a bunch of dots and asked them to find the threatening blue ones. But then they started showing them fewer and fewer blue dots. And you know what happened? People's brains just started calling the purple dots threatening instead. The better your life gets, the more your brain actually expands its definition of what bad is just to keep hitting its thread quota. It's wild.
And then there's this. This number? It's your character's default happiness level. It's a base stat you can't really change. It's called the hedonic treadmill. You can get the biggest loot drop of your life, win the lottery, land the dream job, whatever. And yeah, you'll get a temporary happiness buff, but give it some time and you'll always drift right back to your default setting, which for most of us is about a 7 out of 10. The game is literally designed to keep you on that treadmill, always grinding for a perfect 10 that never really lasts.
So all of this brings us to the big reveal, the final boss of life. It isn't your boss at work. It's not some situation. The final boss is pain itself. And here's the ultimate plot twist. Pain isn't a bug. It's not a temporary debuff you can get rid of. Pain is the universal constant of the game. It's not in the game, it is the game's physics engine.
So, okay, how in the world do you beat a boss that you can't kill? The answer is you don't. You use a pro-gamer move. You learn how to turn its power into your own.
Let me give you an incredible example. In 1963, a monk named Thcked sat down in the middle of a street to protest, and he set himself on fire. And as the flames consumed him, he didn't move a muscle. He didn't make a sound. He was demonstrating the absolute highest level of mastery over the game's pain mechanic. He managed to separate the physical damage from the mental suffering debuff that usually comes with it.
This all comes down to your character build, and there are basically 3 choices. You can be fragile, where stress just breaks you. You can be robust, where you can resist stress, you can take a hit. But the pro strat, the ultimate build, is to be anti-fragile. An anti-fragile character doesn't just take a hit, they actually get stronger from it.
They absorb the stress and convert it into a strength buff.
So look, this is it. This is the most important choice you make in the entire game. You don't get to choose whether you experience pain. The game engine won't let you opt out. The only choice you have is about your character build. Are you going to be fragile, or are you going to be anti-fragile? Will you let the pain break you, or are you going to spec your character to use that pain as fuel?
All right, so here's your first quest log. 3 things you can start doing today. Quest number 1, observe your pain. Don't run from it, just sit with the discomfort. Think of it like a little meditation minigame. Quest 2, identify the stories. What are the narratives your brain is spinning around that pain? What does it mean? And finally, quest 3, choose meaningful pain. Start chasing things that are actually worth the struggle. When you do that, pain stops being a horrible debuff and it becomes the currency you use to buy the things you value most.
And hey, to help you get started on these quests, we've got a little loot drop for you. Down in the description, there's a link to a 1-page strategy guide. It's a PDF you can download to track your stats and your quests as you start building that anti-fragile character. Finally, if this guide helps you out, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Think of it as boosting the guild's authority so the algorithm shows these high-level walkthroughs to more players.
I'll leave you with one last piece of wisdom, kind of straight from the dev notes. The only thing that can ever truly destroy a dream is to have it come true. It's a pretty wild thought, right? It's a reminder that the point of the game isn't just to win. The point is to find a game that's worth playing.